Welcome to Horror Movies and Beyond, a show about reviewing horror movies for the living to understand the dead. Today, returning with us is my friend and horror content creator, Narcotic Casserole, and we are going to review a howling gore fest horror comedy series, Wolfcop. Oh, you beat me to it!
Well, but there's another Wolfcop. So 1, 2, yes, okay. Both of us. One. There we go. Oh, that feels nice.
Getting into nice. The howling spirit. Yeah. Man, this did bring out some wolf in me. It definitely was. So what is Wolfcop? It's a series of strange events that began to occur, and an alcoholic police officer realizes that he is turned into a wolf. It's part of a larger plan. So,
yeah.
Okay.
It kind of unfolds like a superhero movie, except it's more a Canadian werewolf. It's it's in Canada. It's very Canada, and it's instead of it being a like Iron Man suit or the heart-shaped herb, it's lycanthropy, which with booze power.
So it's directed, written, and produced by Lowell Dean?
Lowell, yeah, Lowell Dean.
Oh, Lowell! Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm so American. It opens to a drunken cop late for work, barfing and throwing up because he had one hell of a night. And I was kind of like, gagging a little bit because I was like, I don't need to see all that. And he's still drinking on the way to work. And it's like a normal thing when he gets there. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, everyone.
And he's a chief. He's a sergeant.
He's kind of he's definitely higher. He's high up, but as it turns out, not as high up as his partner Tina, who, as we see, is a plaque. Tina for Officer of the Month. And good on you, Tina. And you know what? Tina absolutely earns it. Tina is awesome.
Yeah, Tina takes her job very seriously. But I really like Tina. The event, remember the event that's supposed to happen before this all happened was what was it called?
The drink and shoot.
What kind of event? Drink and shoot. And the cops is like, let's get ready for it. Like it's normal.
But this is also the kind of town that sells liquor donuts, which apparently is a real thing.
You lying?
I'm not lying. Apparently liquor donuts is a real thing. This Wolfcop was shown on The Last Drive-In, and Joe Bob talked about it, where he was like, "Is that a real thing?" And he actually found out, no, it's a real thing. But apparently they're less of a Canadian thing, but I think more of a Colorado thing. Oh. But I guess it was just one of those things that kind of just became a niche for this movie. I think the joy of this movie is the fact that it is boldly and unashamedly, and I even admire it's proudly Canadian. Like, this is a film that loves the fact that it is Canadian. I mean, this sucker was filmed in Saskatchewan, and
that's how you say it. I was trying to figure it out. I was looking at that now. Yeah. And I knew, I know Narcotic is going to say the word right, because I'm not even going to try.
I'm the kind of guy that when I see a weird looking road on the side, I'm like, Econ-Lakachi. Okay, Econ-Lakachi, that's how you say it. And everyone's be like, we just call it Econ, dude. We're like, lightweights. I mean, there's another road on the way to Tampa here called Fanata-Tasasa.
Okay, I give up. I couldn't even say any of that. Well, okay. So something strange happens. He goes to investigate a strange thing that's supposed to happen in the woods or something like that, and he gets knocked out. He kind of wakes up in and out while they're doing some weird things. Some people in robes. You got a bonfire going, and he wakes up in his bed, and everything seems to be normal. I like that they did not waste any time getting to the point. That's one thing I have to say. I really like the director's writing style or the way he is, because as soon as he woke up to go shave, and he shaves and the hair grew back. But this is where it gets right to the point, like I said, when he goes to the bar and just throwing back drinks, he doesn't feel well. He goes to the bathroom, and I like how they said Friday the 13th placard on the wall while he's trying to take a piss. And then he starts screaming and hollering because something has happened. And I did not think, like I said, I haven't seen this film in a minute. So when I rewatched it, I was like, what the hell? Like, the camera went right to it.
right to his kibbles and bits, pretty much just exploding, in a big old flesh sausage, all of a sudden turning into a big black throw pillow. I love that the camera fixates on that, because most people don't think about that with Wolfman got nards, so I guess they're just gonna guarantee Canadian Wolfman got nards.
Well, you didn't think the camera would be on it for that long. I mean, it had to been like 10 seconds of genitals bursting into some, like, a hairball. It was just, and he's just screaming. But the practical effects on here was outstanding.
Oh God, yeah. One of my favorite types. I mean, there's been so many great wolf transformations on film. I mean, of course, there's the big one. Actually, the two big ones that came out at the same time, Howling and American Werewolf. But I love a werewolf transformation, especially one like this, and I hadn't seen it. Actually, I remember Van Helsing did it first, where the werewolf rips off their flesh, revealing the werewolf underneath. But that was all cartoonish CGI. So I loved watching Wolfcop and seeing that that's the way he does it here. And it's nice, and it's goopy, and it's kind of like, it's kind of gross at first when you're looking at it, and it's kind of like a different kind of pain that you'd imagine he's going through. But when you see the finished package, it's just like, oh my God, you never think you're going to see a world transformation like this done in hardcore practical effects, especially on the budget that this movie had. Even with all the Canadian funding that this movie got through the Canadian Film Board.
Yeah, it just seems so painful, but it also reminded me of Cat People. I think the one came out in the, was it the early 80s or something like that? Yeah. When they turn into panthers, their skin pulled away. It was just similar, but not as gross.
That's right. Yeah, I had seen Cat People. I just hadn't seen that until after I saw Wolfcop. So my brain, of course, goes to Wolfcop first. But
so amazing practical effects. So and it give you a sense the werewolf change is from the inside out.
Yeah.
But what I was always puzzled, like, he would be back to normal. So it's like, is it a reverse? It never showed how he come human again.
Goes back.
Yeah, he just
I guess human. Yeah, you don't see a fuzzy flesh pile on the ground right there. It'd be like, and honestly, I'd be like, awesome! You get this to the seamstress. I got myself a new rug, a new renewable resource of wolf fur throw rugs.
But if we saw a pile of hair on the floor, it's like, oh, so it goes back the other way. That would be cool. That's, maybe they forgot.
Possibly. Or again, I think it is also a budgetary thing, because to get that, I mean, I'm pretty sure it cost a lot just to get the fur necessary for, just to make the Wolfcop suit in general. Judging by the texture of the fur, I wouldn't be surprised if that was like yak hair, which from what I understand, like that kind of fur is pretty common with werewolf movies, just because the texture is very unique. So I'd have to look that up to find out if that's exactly the kind of fur they use. But even then, that's not easy fur to come across.
Right.
So,
at this, we already met Tina and some of the other people, but then we meet Willie. He doesn't really care that he's a werewolf. That's why I also liked how the director wrote this, because it wasn't like he was in denial. The whole, oh, I'm not a werewolf, I can't do this. As soon as he had breakfast, Willie threw in some what was that? Some wolfbane in there to see if he really was.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. Yeah, well, it was because Willie is kind of established to be kind of a Fox Mulder-esque conspiracy theory alien enthusiast, basically paranormal enthusiast. So the notion of a friend of his being a werewolf, he's not going to be all like, oh, bullshit. He's actually going to be like, let's check. And I love sneaking the wolfsbane into his breakfast is a really cool little touch right there that made that really work for me.
And when Lou realized that he was one, he accepted it. It was like, oh, okay, I'm a werewolf. Great. And now I got to take my drunk ass to work. It was like...
Actually, one thing I have to point out, which I really love about this, even though it's done to comedic, cartoonish effect here, we always see it when someone turns into a werewolf and it's like a blackout. They have no idea what they did. Like they lose all autonomy when they turn. I also really love it when someone turns and they are fully in possession of their faculties. Like they know precisely what they're doing. They use that to great effect here. And again, I feel like the superhero metaphor, even Saturday morning cartoon kind of influences are entirely on display here, because when he goes back to work, he goes back to work in his work clothes. And by work clothes, I mean he goes full lupine in there. And you never think you're going to tick werewolf with beer in one hand, gun in a holster, in police uniform. You never think you're going to tick that off your bucket list. But by God, Lowell Dean said, hey, you missed this. Put that on your list now. Now cross it off.
Yeah, that was the thing, like, because you would assume he would be just this beast out there just devouring people, but no, he was still aware, even though his killer instincts were there, you know, and I just loved it.
He was still savage. He was still like violent. I mean, ripping people's faces off, like going freaking crazy, but yet is still fully aware. I need a bitchin' ride.
Yeah.
He takes the time to pimp out his patrol car.
Oh my gosh, there was a scene that had me in tears, and I laughed for like 10 minutes. And I don't know why. I just thought it was the funniest thing. So once they realized, and he realized, Willie and him and whatever, he's a vampire. I mean, a werewolf. He's a werewolf, and they lock him in the cell and to see what happens when he changed, because they wanted to put it on camera. And so all of a sudden, and he always changed at 10 o'clock p.m., which I just thought that was such an odd time.
That is very specific.
Yeah, it's very specific. And I didn't find anything on it, but so he was changing and Willie forgot to turn on the record button. So halfway through, he got him. But once Lou completely changed to the Wolfcop, he broke out of the cell and took the phone call. And he was like, and writing down. And then Willie was like, what's going on? Robbery. He took off. I was
yes.
It sounded like Scooby-Doo right there. Robbery.
Because you're thinking, okay, is he just going to be not knowing what he's doing? But then, he rips open the door, picks up the phone, writes down a note. I'm like, this is going to be epic. And okay, I will tell you now, I have a ban against puns in my writing on anything I do. But I will tell you now, when he's in the middle of a gunfight and the guy goes, who are you? And he goes, the Fuzz. I died a little because I was holding in my laughter so damn hard. I was like, that is the epitome of dad jokes in its worst way. And yet
that cracked me up too. I was like, what?
Oh man. It was just perfection. And there's a little part of me, stuff like that, I wonder when Lowell D was coming up with this idea, I wonder if he had that joke in mind, like when he was conceiving this, and then wrote a script around the freedom to be able to use that joke. You do sometimes have to wonder if they were like, that's a stupid joke, I gotta find a way to make it funny. Oh, make it a werewolf. There you go.
That's what I really did enjoy about the first one. It just went for it. It was like, if you're gonna make a werewolf movie and it's comedy and it's gory and it's whatever, he went all the way. And I did enjoy it. And it's like, you knew what it was setting up to be. It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a serious, like, oh, it feels like it wants to be serious, but then it doesn't. Like, you're unsure. Like, you know exactly from the moment he woke up in the bed to when he started changing to him being the cop, like dressed up, fighting crime as a werewolf. Like, you knew. And it didn't like, it didn't put a wool over your eyes.
and the thing is, you buy it, you go for it. Actually, and even going away from the wolf, let's just talk about, I want to talk about Lou as a character. Because typically these kind of characters in any other horror movie would be the most despicable. He would be so thoroughly unlikable. And I love that the script doesn't shy away from the fact that this is a deeply flawed character. I love the fact that he doesn't go through any kind of reformative arc where he kicks the booze or he stops being who he is. It's just that now that he's got this on his shoulders, he kind of actually starts to take his job seriously because now he feels empowered enough to be able to do it. And because he's a werewolf, do it the way he kind of feels he wants to do it. And it just works for the town. But
he never gets rid of the booze. The booze turns into like, it's almost like
spinach. It's a spinach, or the Scooby snacks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Scooby snacks. There you go.
And he used his flaws, and I think that's what made him the wolf cop he is. Because even Willie was like, this one's different. Because it's part of a ritual. They need his blood. They need all this stuff to sustain the reptilian life of those skinwalkers or whatever they are.
Shifters, I think that shifters.
Shifters.
Yeah.
So, but him being different, I think it was the alcohol. It was so toxic in his system that it made him resistant to a lot of the things that they were trying to do.
I think I even think on a character level, there is a kind of inner drive, because I do know that there is allusions to the fact that his dad was a cop and apparently defied the mayor of the town. And as we find out later on, was killed for it. And obviously that kind of affected him to the point where he kind of buried himself in the bottle. There's the idea, I like the idea that he is kind of haunted by that, and because he became the werewolf and because he's found a way to kind of find I think he just really kind of found his inner strength to be able to be the kind of cop that the town needs by virtue of the fact that he became this werewolf. And obviously it wasn't his fault to become one, and I love the idea that even though he was meant to be a tool for the shifters, I love that blows up in their face that he becomes something more because of this inner drive that was lost to him until he got that kick. And the kick was just becoming a werewolf.
So there was also some weird that happened when I was watching this, because as I was watching this, I was like, you know what? I don't know what it is about Lou, but how can I say this without sounding weird? Because I was like attracted. The second time I watched, I was like, see, it's the single life that I am right now. Like, even werewolves are attractive, because I was finding him. He had me some type of way when I was watching. I was like, oh, maybe I would have.
Don't get me started. I mean, heck, there have been times where I'm watching Doctor Who and I see a Silurian and I'm like going, ooh, that lizard woman. Oh yeah, But horror is doing weird things to me where I'm starting to find, find new aspects of myself that I never thought possible. So yeah, you don't have to justify anything to me. And I'm going to add this to the actor Leo Fafard, who plays Lou. They couldn't have picked a better actor to inevitably to look like he's gonna like. This is the guy who I'm pretty sure in his yearbook said most likely to become a werewolf just by looking at this guy.
Yeah. I thought it was makeup, but that's his real? Yeah. Was it five? Natural what did it say? Five? Yeah, like because I was looking, I was like, gosh, the makeup on it. But then when the camera got close enough, you're like, wait, that is his face. Like he really has a monster beard if it grew off. He must be very hairy. The second one, another Wolfcop, it just dives right in. It just happens. You find some robbers trying to run away, and they're being pursued by Wolfcop.
It is Wolfmobile in the it is big old pimped out Wolfmobile. So actually, you know, this is kind of like an R-rated Teen Wolf as well. Like, and I'm talking like the Michael J. Fox Teen Wolf kind of thing. So instead of being good at basketball, he's just good at being a cop.
Yeah, so pretty much.
Yeah. This another Wolfcop. I mean, I will say for everyone at home who has not seen either of these films back to back, just back to back these two movies, honestly, and I will say compliments to Lowell Dean in writing this one. This really does feel like a great escalation. Like it really does work as a sequel in terms of giving us more, and even more. Even so, when I say doing more, this is like Basket Case 2 levels of going extra. Like you think it's going to be just further exploits of him bagging criminals. No, another Wolfcop. We've got killer robots. We've got chicken milk beer. We've got whatever the hell that is. We've got Kevin Smith as a hockey-loving mayor. Yeah, and we get Wolfcop as a goalie in a hockey match. And for extra measure, we find a time to have a shot of him just letting it hang out with his foot.
Yeah. I didn't. You know, I kind of expect something like that was going to happen. Especially, see, at this point, Tina, his partner, is just accepting what is happening to him. Like, it's a Wolfcop thing. I know. So she was mad that he broke loose and out there, you know, fighting crime, but he doesn't like capture the criminals. He just murders.
Yeah, he just
in the worst way. I mean, just gore fest, heads coming off, ripping people apart, skin come. He just ripped someone's skin at the hockey arena. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah. And so he's sitting in the couch, and she sees him. And you know what? He was sitting there, like asshole naked from the bottom down.
He's got his little Christmas Evil, just like all tucked away. His thing is buried in a Santa hat. The most festive stock I've ever seen.
Until he stands up, and the camera is there for like a good 5 seconds.
Does a good old wide with his $5 footlong right there. I just loved how stark it was. I just loved how shameless it was.
That's why beautiful. I was feeling some type of way. I was like, well,
Though actually speaking of cat people, well, we get cat people in this one, and she's definitely not a Jellicle cat.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
you find out Willie, the Willie that was in the first one was not Willie. That was one of the shapeshifters. Willie, Willie that's in the second one. Is really Willie when he gets there, but because he was in a box. In Doctor Who terms, these shifters kind of work like Zygons in Doctor Who, where they have to keep the original preserved so they can maintain the copy, kind of thing. So they can kind of, especially since they intended to be Willie for the long term. So that's which you could say is like their way of saying, well, people really like Willie, we got to bring him back somehow. Okay, we'll just pull this whole idea out of our ass. It's Blade 2 logic of like how they brought Whistler back. It's that same thing. It's like, we'll come up with a way to bring him back just because the audiences love him. And you know what? I'm glad they did, because
yeah, Willie's a fun character, and actually, I will say
I like Willie. Yeah,
he's even more. Actually, I would even say he's even more lovable here because, unfortunately, because he had been captured, he's so far behind to the point where he didn't actually know about Lou being a werewolf, and he's like playing catch up on everything else that's going on. So that just led to some fun shit, like a lot of fun aspects.
Poor Willie had a little friend tucked away in his gut that came out, and it had two little arms, a little stash, and green eyes.
I feel like we need to give some people some context in this case.
Oh, okay.
The villain's scheme is very clearly the Shifters' conspiracy. Is that obviously they want to boost their number. So using the big local hockey game, he's distributing this new beer called Chicken Milk, which why anyone would want to drink anything that's called chicken milk. All I'm thinking, like, do chickens have nipples? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. So, but basically this beer is secretly a way to get everyone drinking it to create new life inside them. Now, yeah, you're right. The way they filmed it, well, Willie has been drinking it, and he manifests this little talking. But honestly, to me, it looked a lot more like Gallagher or something like that. But it had little arms, and there's a part of me that was like going, "Oh, it's like a little buddy." Willie got a little Willie, or Willie got Willie.
It was very sassy too. It talked smart, like it was. Oh God. Oh my gosh. Remember this scene. So at this point, okay, wait. I jumped the gun. Lou was fighting, and all of a sudden he got hurt from this thing.
Lou got the shit beat out of him by this giant robot, like this robot type thing.
Yeah, and he was like, oh my God, he's dying or something. So he took him Willie took Lou to his sister because she's into all that stuff. Well, not knowing his sister.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a lichen as well.
She's a werecat.
Oh, a werecat.
Oh, yeah.
Is that different than a werewolf? Or are they the same, but it's more female?
Well, no, more feline. I mean, no, she's just basically the same rules, but more just, she's a feline. And, of course, there's a lot of things about this which crack me up. Now, I was thinking they were going to do, and as you can expect, as a kind of wonderful flip of the first film where we see Wolfcop getting swifty with the barmaid that he was fancying.
Oh yeah.
So you're seeing a woman on wolf action in there. You're thinking we're going to see werewolf on werecat action, which
yeah.
Credit to the dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. But you're thinking that's what we're going to get. No. Lou stays in human form, so he is in human form, and I'm sorry I'm going to be crude here, but getting literal.
Yeah, I mean, she had 6 boobs, and he was rubbing on them. They were doing it doggy style, woofy style, if you want to call it that. I mean, he was beating it up. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure if they had the money for the rights to the song. I'm pretty sure they would have beat the Marvels to it, but I'm pretty sure I had memory in my head during that whole thing. They could have slow-moed that scene and then hearing, touch me, it's so easy to please me.
But there was no slow motion. It was quick. She was being flipped around on the wall. And then, oh my God, I just thought, no, they freaking didn't when he went down on her and he pulled away. It was like this massive fluid that she put him back down. And poor Willie, with his Willie, was sitting in the room smoking weed.
Yeah, I think the more and more I think about it, the Basket Case 2 parallel is very, very accurate because this one goes for it. I mean, it's a bigger story, to its credit, where there's so much more going on. They're building on the lore. Actually, one thing they do, and ironically, the werecat's name is Cat, but But one cool thing that they added onto here is that she has a moon rock, and to help Lou heal after his ordeal, she chips off a bit of it, grinds it into powder, and lets him snort it like cocaine. And but that helps. I'm like, yeah, that's funny because of course the solution is snort it. But I'm like, that's still a really cool. Again, these are superhero movies. These are horror superhero movies. So the idea that for him, his sunlight or his thing, booze on the side, but the idea that using a moon rock is like super juice to him, that's like makes him even more powerful, because later on in the movie he gets like, I think it was on a hockey stick, but they put it like all on the hockey stick, and he just like
I mean, it was so much fun. This one was so much fun, and like I said, they just went completely for it. And now these people who consumed this drink, I guess within the drink, it developed some kind of
embryos,
in their stomach. So that guy, which his name is Sidney Swallows. Everything he say is so sexual. He has this device that makes them bigger and burst out. Basically using all the people at the hockey game, they're using them as incubators to birth them to fruition. Obviously what happened with Willie was that they stopped midway before they could actually finish, and that's why he looked like mini Willie. Yeah, he looked like Willie. Willie. Well, he wasn't too many. That thing was big. And he showed Tina. He's like, I got to show you something. She was like, wait. He's like, no, look.
I love Tina even more in this movie because I love the way that she has taken every whacked out thing at the end from the first movie, and she's taking it all in her stride. I love how she's treating Wolfcop as just more of a, God damn it, dude, at least we have an agreement here. You're making my job harder. And I love how it's less of like terror, or like she has to face off against like opposing, like you're opposing the law or something like that. It's like, no, dude, come on. I know you're serving a purpose. People love you, but come on. You gotta have. She's the voice of reason. But from what I understand, Another Wolfcop was not as successful as the first one, which is why we have not seen, Wolfcop 3. And it does make me sad. I hope one day, there's a demand that grows for it and we get to another one crowdfunded. But it just makes me sad because I kind of wanted to see how much more manic he could take Wolfcop from this point. Because I'll say one shortcoming of Another Wolfcop is that they do leave a lot of plot threads hanging, especially with the big bad. He kind of, they let him go, and there's no real resolution on what happened with them afterwards, which immediately leads me to realize that they were sequel baiting for a third movie. Which, fine, but unfortunately that's the one problem with franchise planning, is that you plan too far ahead. Sometimes those plans don't come to fruition. Or actually, one person said, stop planning your sequel until you make sure that your current installment is good enough that people will want the next installment. That's been a problem, and that is a problem that's been happening, like especially with a lot of the major release films nowadays. A lot of times they're so busy planning next film that they leave the current film that is supposed to springboard into that woefully underdeveloped as a result. Now, I mean, in the case of Another Wolfcop, I mean, I don't begrudge it. I mean, if I were the guy who got lucky enough to say, "Hey, my movie's getting a sequel," I'm gonna get ambitious and think, "Oh man, I gotta make like 20 of these bitches." But but at least in this case, I like the fact that he still there's still a lot of effort in here. He's still expanding on ideas he's alluded to in the first film, and because he goes for it, the film kind of it makes you go, I want to see more of this world. That if I'm seeing mutant dick monsters coming out of people, if I'm seeing were-cats along with werewolves, what other lunar human animal hybrids are there out there?
I know it would have been nice. But I think his name is Leo. How would you say his last name? Yeah, I don't think he would do it. I don't think he would do a 3. I don't think so.
I mean,
maybe that's why there's no 3. Maybe they had, or they wanted to, they was a plan. Maybe it was supposed to be or something. And I think you just cannot find another Leo. Like, you cannot, he was so perfect as Wolfcop. He probably just didn't want to do it for whatever reasons, and then it could have been, well, there's no Wolfcop because he is Wolfcop. I couldn't see. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but
there's a lot of reasons. From what I understand, the first Wolfcop was they scored funding for it because I believe Lowell Dean ended up winning like a contest or something, like with the Canadian Film Board, so he won funding for the first film, and then when the first one took off, it became like an immediate cult success. That ended up scoring him a bigger budget to make another Wolfcop. But I don't know the full story, but I just know that unfortunately it underperformed. From what I understand, it just may not have gotten the wide enough distribution. There's a lot of factors, but suffice to say, obviously the film did well enough. We probably would be seeing like Wolfcop 3, but it seems to me like, I guess it didn't make the money. It didn't get the, and also probably didn't get the audience raves like it should have, because the movie is awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
However, I did find something on Amazon. It says Wolfcop number 3, and it's the same premise. So I don't know if it was just someone made their own way of putting, like, oh, well, there's not going to be a live action, I'll do a comic book. So that's where I'm seeing here.
You know what? I think it could be entirely possible that they may have made a comic book out of it, and you know what? It would definitely work in comic book form. So that would be pretty awesome. And in fact, a lot of times, actually, that is a common thing that happens with a lot of horror franchises, especially if the prospects of another film is nowhere in sight. They will do that. They'll go ahead and just make the sequel in comic form. In fact, that's what happened with Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Was that because obviously that project wasn't going to happen, so they said, you know what, let's just go ahead and let's just continue the story in comic book form, and that's kind of how it happened. All right, let's see, Lowell Dean. He's not definitely doesn't have a Wolfcop 3 anywhere in development. Right now, Lowell Dean's, he's got a movie called Deadlands, The Cheerleaders Must Die, and in production, he's got a movie called Die Alone and Dark Match. That's what he's got going on right now. So
and Leo has some projects too. So like I said, it obviously it could be because there was just not enough money, or that maybe deep down they were like, no.
But kind of going back to what I was saying, when you have a movie where the climax, the final confrontation, takes place at a hockey game, and the villain's scheme is going to come to fruition while one of them is singing "Oh Canada," while all these creatures are being born. And you know what? I love the fact that the game is still going on in lieu of the fact that chaos is happening all around. With people birthing chicken milk monsters. I mean, now I gotta know. I mean, was it coming out of their navel?
Why would be very vague on that when we were seeing wolf penis through the film? So it was like, why be vague on Willie and everyone else? What's up with that?
I mean,
just get to
I don't know. I'm just just get to it. I mean, is it gonna be like Alien where it's coming out of their stomach, or I mean, I'd be terrified to think they'd be coming out of their dick holes. I mean, that'd be horrifying.
It was really fun. I mean, it's not a masterpiece. No. Is there flaws? Yes.
Sometimes the premise is all you need, and so long as you have the imagination to take that premise to the peak of its potential, you're golden. You don't. You can. One thing I love about horror audiences and horror fans, especially the more hardcore lot, they can be so forgiving so long as you give them what you promise them. And the movie promises a Wolfcop. which is more than can be said for Samurai Cop, but he doesn't even put a freaking sword in his hand until the dead end of the movie. Anyway, digressing. But this is a film that, like you said, and both these movies run at a very lean 75 minutes. These are short movies. They do not waste time. They get you to what you're here to see. And even better, in the annals of werewolf movies, it does the whole concept of lycanthropy in its own fantastic, wonderful way that just fits its own world, but it still has the fun of the idea of a werewolf cop and just goes for it. And even better, it does the kind of shit that we as little kids, when we think about werewolves, we think about the cool shit the kids would want to see a werewolf do. We want to see especially a wolf cop, and honestly, this is a part of me like going, man, if this is a PG-13 movie, kids would want merchandise of a wolf cop action figure with the wolf cruiser. I really was thinking about those like the days of the real Ghostbusters action figure line. And I'm like, back in the 80s, we had kids animated shows based on R-rated movies. It's like if Wolf Cop had come out, we had RoboCop as a cartoon, we had Rambo as a cartoon. If it had come out in the 80s, we would have gotten a freaking animated series out of it. We probably would have gotten video games. We probably would have gotten an action figure line. Out of that
clothes,
sucker.
You have like shirts with Wolf Cop on the front. The shoes, we would have had shoes with nails coming out. His toenails, when his toenails burst out his shoes, that took me out. I was laughing. I was like, wow. They would have had like fuzzy slippers for bed like that. See, they could do that now. I would wear them. See, fright rags.
I so would.
Fright rags. There we go.
You talk to Ben. Talk to Ben. Wolf Cop. Oh no, Wolf Cop bedtime slippers. I would be all over that.
Me too. I was so sportive.
So on that. Yeah. Yeah, both of them are a riot, all the way through. And again, because they both run it at extremely short run times, they're great watching back to back with each other. And I might even test it at a party later on, to really kind of see how good of a response this gets, because I think these would make great party viewing. So
thank you so much, Narcotic Casserole. Always have so much fun. I think, I don't know, the fourth one? No, third one.
I want to say fourth. Fourth?
Maybe four. Was it four?
Scare Me.
Okay.
Scare Me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Scare Me was first.
Doom
then
Asylum.
It was actually Blood Diner, Doom Asylum,
and
now this one.
Because it's so great. We have it. I just love how we just go back and forth. So much fun. So
I can't even imagine what we're going to talk about next.
I got to find another wild and crazy film out there.
Oh, they're out there. They be out there. We'll find them. I mean, we're going to talk about movies that give us intrinsic needs for anthropomorphic animal people. I mean, there is Hell Comes to Frogtown.
And like I said, Lou had me feeling some type of way watching him turn into a wolf. So, see what the single life could do to you?
Oh, no. I'm here to tell you now. It's already bad enough that the movie Cats already had me think things about anthropomorphic cat people. Especially when you got cats at the Corova milk bar spraying milk all over each other like the Jonas Brothers in concert. But then I'm seeing Lou in a tryst with a werecat, and there's not a single portion of my being or being repulsed. I'm like going, yeah, I'd tap that.
Ooh,
I'd cat that.
I'm blushing.
Yeah, I'd make her purr.
Where they could find you?
All right, you could definitely find me trotting out movie recommendations and just random musings about horror on my TikTok at Narcotic Casserole. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, same name. Also, find me on Spotify or iHeartRadio for my podcast, What's in the Podcast Horror, where we not only do we do movie spotlights, actually, you've been on it. Actually, when we did Dolls, we did talk about Dolls on that podcast.
Yep.
To great effect. Fantastic episode. But we also do editorials. Just recently, I did one that I'm very proud of, where we talked about sexual themes and sexual violence as portrayed in horror. So yeah, we have a good time talking about some, but there are some times where we talk about actual, real, like intense subject matters in relation to horror. It's a show I'm very proud of. I mean, I'm still kind of climbing, but hopefully y'all come and visit. And that's me. That's all. That's the story of me.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Something's in my throat. I might have that chicken milk beer.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought you were purring. I thought you were purring.
Oh, my God.
Look,
I'm
not.
like,
To quote Kurt Russell, look, I ain't stalking you, but I didn't say I wasn't a wolf.
Well, yeah. What did he say?
What did he say?
So thank you, everyone, so much, and make sure you follow Narcotic Casserole. He's amazing. I will have all his information down below. And once again, thank you so much, and everyone have a really good night, day, wherever you may be. And now I'm like all over the place.
It's like you're gonna go watch Cat People after this, aren't you?
Oh, Cat People in the 80s one. Woo! That was the sexiest damn movie I've ever. One of them. There's another one, the vampire one, with Susan Sarandon.
Oh, The Hunger.
And David Bowie.
Ooh. The Hunger. That is the second most sexy. That is the second sexiest vampire movie.
Oh my gosh! I was sitting there like, I'm feeling some way.
No, the sexiest vampire film is Only Lovers Left Alive. That one. That is the sexy. Ooh, yeah, with Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston.
And Tilda Swinton. Oh. And Tilda Swinton as vampires.
Oh, I probably need a glass of wine for that one.